Hello, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen. This is Defub21, and today we have a new trailer for Fallout 4, specifically for the first of the DLC. That's digital download content. For those who don't know, that is coming to the platform, or coming to Fallout 4. This is called what is it called? It's the Automatron gameplay trailer is the name of the trailer. This is for the Automatron DLC that's coming for Fallout 4. So without further ado, let's take a look and then I'll let you know my thoughts afterwards.
Peggy 18.
This was the third time we've been attacked by robots like these. It's time to uncover the source and confront their leader. I ask your assistance in stopping this mechanist.
You see junk. I see the building blocks of life. Mine in particular.
The final confrontation awaits. I only hope we both live to see it.
Now you'll face the full might of the Mechanist! Come, my robots! Let's finish this!
Well, that's more than I was expecting. I wasn't quite, well, I was more than I thought I was expecting. I wasn't quite sure when I first read the reports when this DLC for Fallout 4 was announced, whether we'd be getting, whether the Automatron DLC was just the ability to effectively craft robots within the context of the game as it is. I didn't know one way or the other whether there was actually any actual kind of single player mission content associated with it, and apparently there is. So that's more mission content, or more another quest or quests for you to go on, where you get to craft robots. So a little bit of cursory research I've done online seems to indicate that you'll be able to keep your robot companion when you've completed this quest. So it might be a rather useful way of ending up with a particularly powerful companion that will be able to well, for want of a better term, kick ass and take names, and that will be of significant use to you. I mean, certainly the companion I use in Fallout 4 in the main game is very useful to me. I've outfitted her with it's one of the unique weapons you can find in the game. It's the Blade of Kravak or something. I can't pronounce it properly, but it allows her to do quite a lot of damage in melee combat. An interesting thing, I mean, just for those who may or may not, or certainly from my use of using companions in the game, if they do come with a ranged weapon when you first recruit them, that weapon seems to have unlimited ammunition. But if you give them a more powerful, more formidable weapon, they appear to need ammo to use it. So if you give them a laser rifle with a few fusion cells to power it, or a few power cells to power it, and they run out of those, they'll revert back to whatever ranged weapon they've got. And in the case of some of the characters, certainly the one I've unlocked, which is you'll find her in the main urban center in the game. I won't say any more than that for fear of spoiling the game for someone who hasn't played it. But her handgun is a 10mm pistol, is pretty useless. But I gave her a decent, again, this blade of, I'm sure I'm pronouncing it wrong, but it allowed her to do considerably more damage than she was doing with the handgun, and she's coming quite useful since as a result. That and outfitting her with lots of armor and body armor protection, so you can take quite a bit of punishment, has made certain particularly hairy parts of the game a lot easier for me so far. The thing about about that, though, of course, is if you're going to build yourself a robot and it's going to be a kind of rocket launchers, if you've got to constantly supply it with rockets for those weapons to work, that might end up turning up to be something of a draining your resources. And again, with the rockets or God forbid the Fat Man, if you do, as a warning, if you haven't played the game yet, or you're relatively early on, if you do get a companion character who can use ranged weapons and you give them a Fat Man, they will use it. And the area effect explosion, you could end up getting yourself and your companion killed with a Fat Man or even a missile launcher if used in a very confined space. So be very careful about that. Additionally, the bigger robots, the ones that move around kind of on wheels that you see near the end of the trailer there, I would imagine that they're too big to get in some of the places you go around in, too wide, like some of the underground areas would be too narrow for you to travel around in. So if you wanted to build yourself a robot doing that quest, that would be useful to you for the rest of the game. You'd be careful to avoid probably that kind of lower torso, because you seem to be able to configure them with different legs, different torsos, and so on, and obviously different sensors and weapons. There could be quite a bit of customizability to it, although knowing Fallout 4, you might have to unlock a whole new class of perks to be able to really kind of give them good armor, good weapons, good sensors. But it looks like, again, it's a lot more content than I thought we were getting. I'll put it to that way in this DLC, and I think this is the cheapest of them. I think it's like £5. But again, the season pass, I'm not sure if it has hit $60 yet. It was $29.99. They were announcing they're going to increase it. Was it the end of last month or the end of this one? I can't quite remember. You'll have to let me know in the comments if you know the answer to that question. But yeah, it looks good. Again, I'd me being the Steam sale fanatic that I am, I'd probably wait until it's 60 or 70% off and get it for less than 30 quid. But that looks like, again, it looks like good DLC. I mean, whether it's, you see, this is the other thing as well, is the robot crafting restricted exclusively to that quest? In other words, once the quest is over, you've got a robot companion and that's all the crafting with robots you can do? Or can you do lots of robot crafting afterwards and create lots of different robots, not just companions but for their tasks? I mean, that information isn't really elaborated to in the trailer, but it looks good. I was reading, actually, one thing I was reading on a comment on one of the copies of this video online, was that someone suggested perhaps they should, Bethesda should have thought of putting in a multiplayer mode. Think of it kind of almost like Pokemon, or where's that BBC robot battling program where you could build yourself a robot in the Fallout 4 world and fight other people's creations in a ring online. That would be kind of cool. But again, multiplayer at this stage I think would be a distraction from the core game, and I think a lot of RPGs have suffered because of resources that could have gone into the main game has instead gone into some secondary kind of highly expendable multiplayer mode. But as far as the trailer is, good trailer, shows the game, shows the gameplay, shows you customizing the robots. I would be a bit concerned in terms of, if you want to be able to really customize them, then you've got to pump all your, XP from leveling up into a whole new perk or even perk tree, which might be something of a diversion for those who are trying to get through the game and build up their core capabilities, stamina, ability to make weapons, repair armor, and so on. I can't do any armor work stuff because I put everything into upgrading my weapons, so it's a bit, and gaining the ability to share resources between the settlements so that I don't have to keep going back to bloody Sanctuary Hills to get a resupply of stuff to make stuff for crafting or anything else. But again, that's me going on a bit of a tangent there. I think I have clocked up at this point about 91 hours. 92 hours playing Fallout 4. Again, very good game. The patches are making it better and better and better. I think it would have gotten better reviews if they'd waited 5 or 6 months and just kept working on it, fixing the bugs and so on. But as it is, again, it's a great game. But yeah, as I said, it'll be the end of the year, Steam holiday sales before I even countenance buying this content, just because the existing game as it is, there's just so much of it. And I'm barreling towards 100 hours on this game, and yeah, with no end in sight. But yeah, for some DLC content to buy on sale at some point in the future, this looks this looks pretty good. So good trailer, all in gameplay, shows the different mechanics of customizing the robots and so on. I'm sure the actual story missions with the quest will be very good as well. Hopefully, fingers crossed. And for the moment, this is Defub21. If you liked this video, please like it, and if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please do so that you may view more content like this in the not too distant future. For now, toodaloo.